right, thank you all for coming. We're going to go ahead and get started. I just hit record. So if you need to reference this, it is being recorded. And we'll send out the link after the presentation. If you're just coming in, there's little pages for your notes. Those are what the musical notes are. And pencils. We do have some handouts as well. However, we kind of ran out of handouts. We do have more in the counseling office, so if you decide there's something relevant to you, for example, as we talk about Build Dakota, other scholarship opportunities, stop at the counseling office and we'll get you hooked up. So thank you all, first of all, for being here for our Junior Parent Information Night. Tonight, what we're going to cover, here's our agenda. So we're going to start off with introductions, kind of explain who we are, and then the breakdown of our office. We did switch this year, so we're going alphabetically. So that's kind of a big change for us, one we're very happy about. We're going to do academic checkup, so go over the graduation requirements, go over all of the endorsements that your students are able to earn here. We're going to talk about post-high planning, things to consider, testing. Mr. Roberge is going to take us through that section. We're going to cover career exploration, financing post-secondary education, which is always a hot topic that we're starting to think about now as junior parents. Loans, scholarships, other opportunities there. And then we're going to end with some random thoughts.
All right, my name is Jennifer Kirschner. I have been with the district for 12 years at this point, and I have 9th through 12th graders with last names A through G.
Hello, my name is Colin Roberge. This is my second year at the school district, and I help with our students with the last name H-B-O.
And my name is Mrs. Reyes. This is my 11th year at the high school, and I have students with P through Z. I like to give you all a little bit of an idea of who I am. I got my bachelor's degree at Mount Marty in 2006 in Human Services, which was psychology, sociology, and criminal justice. From there, traveled around the state a little bit, did some substitute teaching, did some work at CPS, did some work at inpatient mental health at Avera. Got my master's from Northern State University in 2014, and then started here right after that. I do have 4 children, so I have 2 boys at the middle school, 6th and 8th, and I have 1 high schooler. She is a junior, so I am living this all with you. And then I have 1 adult child. She graduated in 2024, and she's living her best life at USD right now as a music education major. So that's kind of my perspective. It's a little bit different, being like kind of in the trenches with you guys junior year, and also having one who just successfully came out of Yankton High School and had a really good experience. So that's kind of, I'm covering the random thoughts, just some of my thoughts, having been through this and living through it now. Okay, so if you've been to this presentation before, same corny joke. So, what did the buffalo say to his son when he left for college? Bison. Yay. So that's just a little thing. I like to start with humor just because this is a fun time. I know it can be stressful. There's a lot of things to keep in mind. There's a lot of things to consider. But also, let's not forget, this is so fun. And it is fun to watch our children kind of step into this independence. And then they have the roots and they have the wings. Okay, academic checkup. So here's where we're talking about kind of what is important to do junior year. First of all, meet with your counselor. So we just talked about who we have. A through G is Mrs. Kirchner. H through O, Mr. Roberge. P through Z is me. This is a really great time to make that junior year your planning year. Meet with your counselor, tell them what you're thinking about doing, what kind of classes you want to take. Even if it's, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Those are valuable conversations as well. We have lots of different resources we can get into to help them explore what is that next step. Review transcript. So this is IC, stands for Infinite Campus. So your students have access to their transcript at all times. If they log into their Infinite Campus, they go to Documents and then Transcript. So that's a really good thing. We have them do this once a year when we do registration and audits. But I think it's helpful for you to know as a parent. We're going to talk about certain things, like there's certain endorsements that you can't have lower than a C. There's certain endorsements that you need a certain number of credits in a particular area. All that information is housed on the transcript. It's also helpful to kind of go through, and I'm happy to do this with students, Mrs. Kirschner and Mr. Roberge, but you can also go through with your students, what is a 4-point scale? What does it mean? If I have a 3.0, if I have a 2.0, what does that look like? I'm always surprised at how many students don't quite understand what a 4-point scale is, and sometimes they get to like senior year and come in and see me and say, well, there's a scholarship I want to apply for, but you need a 3.5 GPA, and I'm right now at a 2.0. Can I get there? No, you can't. You absolutely can't. So those are helpful things to be looking at now. Also, make sure the transcript is correct. You know, especially some of those things that, like if your student has failed a class, if they have taken anything in credit recovery and we put it back on there are errors that are sometimes made. So that transcript, that is their record, help them make sure that's correct. Another really cool thing about Infinite Campus is the academic plan. So your student right now as a junior should have everything through 12th grade year planned. They may not, because it wasn't a requirement last year when we kind of went through and said, okay, everyone please fill out these plans. But it's a really helpful tool to say, okay, what are you still missing? What do you still need? And where are we at? How are we planning those out for senior year? In January, our juniors, the class of 26, will complete their second self-audit and parchment registration. So they have already audited themselves. We have these really nifty sheets, say class of 26 right on it, and it has the 22 credits that are required for graduation and a breakdown on all of those different subject areas. So they have already completed one of those. Ask your student to see. And if they can't find it, send them to the counseling office. We'll have them make another. Really good talking points. Okay, check high school graduation requirements and post-high planning. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about on these next few slides. We're going to go over endorsements and kind of making sure, am I taking courses related to college major, future career endorsements I hope to earn. And for those of you coming in, we do have lots of empty seats if you guys want to squeeze in. Totally your call. Okay. Okay, so here are the graduation requirements. So these were updated in 2018. I remember when this update happened, but now it feels like a lifetime ago. But the big things, basically, you can see math, just one unit of Algebra 1, but they do need 3 credits overall in math. That was kind of a big one. The other big one was science. Chemistry used to be a graduation requirement. It is no longer a graduation requirement. So we still do require 3 units of science. Only 1 has to be biology. Chemistry doesn't necessarily have to be in there. So 4 years of English, that hasn't changed. The math and the science we covered. Social studies, we require 3 units. The state requires 3 units. 1 has to be U.S. history, and then a 0.5 of U.S. government. We'll kind of go over how the different endorsements might require different things in that area. Fine arts, 1 unit required. Physical education, 0.5. Health, 0.5. Important to note, we put those together. So if you attend Yankton High School freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, you take PE and health all together in that freshman year of PE. Personal finance or economics, you got to take 0.5. So one of those classes, approved CTE or world language, that's 1. So that can be a year of Spanish or more. It can be any of our career and technical education. That's what CTE stands for. And then electives, 5.5. So an elective is anything above and beyond what you've already taken. So for example, if you take band all 4 years, your first year is that required fine arts. Your other 3 years fall into that 5.5 of electives. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. Most of our students will graduate with over 22 credits. Okay, now let's hit endorsements. So that was base diploma. Here we go with endorsements. The first one is the advanced endorsement. The vast majority of our students earn at least the advanced endorsement. The advanced endorsement, the only thing different about advanced and the base diploma is you've made it through at least Algebra 2. Okay, so you'll notice the 3 units of math. 1 has to be Algebra 1, that's a state requirement. 1 has to be geometry, 1 has to be Algebra 2. So really, the only students that would graduate without this advanced endorsement would be our friends who take pre-algebra, Algebra 1, and geometry, and then don't continue to Algebra 2. So that is the only thing different from base diploma and advanced endorsement is just that year of Algebra 2. Okay, now let's talk about advanced career endorsement. So you will see the English, math, science, social studies, fine arts, PE, health, personal finance, economics, all the same as the base diploma. The only thing different about this one is what's highlighted here. So you have to have 2 units of either of the following or a combination of the 2. CTE classes from the same cluster, so 2 or more credits from the same cluster CTE, or capstone experience unit. So that would be like World of Work internship. So World of Work and Internship, we'll talk about those a little bit more. Those are credit-long classes that happen senior year. Okay, when we talk about CTE clusters, so I have to have 2 or more credits in the same CTE cluster. What is a cluster? It's exactly what it sounds like, things that go together. So for example, Intro to Vehicle Maintenance, General Service Tech, Advanced Autos, 2 or more credits in that same area. Construction Trades 1, Construction Trades 2, same area, right? You're kind of looking at, this is what my skill is in, and I'm taking classes that align with this. The other big thing with this is a student needs to take the NCRC, so the National Career Readiness Exam, and they have to score a silver or higher. So actually, just yesterday, every single one of our seniors took the NCE, the National Career Exam, and we're hoping, and you can see, we're #1 for this. All our students do really well. The vast majority of our students do earn a silver or higher. So you get a certificate from that exam. You can earn no certificate, or you can earn bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. And like I said, most of our students do get that silver or higher. Okay, last endorsement. So this is one that is pretty important. They're all pretty important, but this one I'm going to say is the one that with an additional requirement is tied to some money. So this is one to take note of. So this is our Advanced Honors endorsement. So Advanced Honors endorsement, there's quite a few things different. Everything highlighted is different from that base diploma. So when we look at English, that's actually going to be the same as what we require in Yankton High School. We're set there. Math, in math, you have to have 4 years. So 4 or more years of math. So this would be Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. And then for our students, it would be either College Algebra or Pre-Calc Trade. We have a brand new class this year called College Algebra, which is really exciting. So that's an option for students who don't quite want to take Pre-Calc Trade, but want to continue in math past the Algebra 2 and get this endorsement. And then a lot of our students actually go on for a 5th year of math, and that's AP Calc. So to do that 5th year, you would have had to take Algebra 1 in 8th grade. But for advanced endorsement, Advanced Honors endorsement, you just need the 4 years. So Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, College Algebra, or Pre-Calc Trade. Okay, science, you need 4 units of science. So just like base diploma, 1 has to be bio or AP bio. AP bio also counts as that biology. 1 has to be physical science, 1 has to be chemistry or physics, and then 1 other science elective. So for our students, that would be something like AP Chem. It would be 2 classes of either anatomy and physiology, earth and space, environmental. It would be if you took chemistry, you could go back and take physics. So we have a lot of different options to get that 4 credits, 4 units of science. Social studies, this is pretty much what our students do anyway. The difference between base diploma and advanced honors endorsement, you have to have a semester of geography and a semester of world history. So my guess is if you look back on your student's transcript, most students take that as sophomores. That's what we recommend. And then fine arts, PE, health, personal finance or economics, those are all the same. Approved CTE or world language, we need 2 of those. Here it doesn't have to be those CTE classes in the same cluster, and you can also use Spanish. So you can use Spanish 1, Spanish 2. That takes care of your requirements. Okay, other little boogers on this. Notice at the top what it says, all high school coursework completed with a C or higher. So this is that one where you can't have lower than a C in any of those classes. Now, okay, question I often get, what if I have lower than a C? What if I had a really rough first semester of my freshman year and I got a D in physical science for a semester? And then I got back on track and nothing else lower than a C. You can recover that by taking another science credit, okay? So you can go back and you can kind of make that right by taking something additional in its place. I can't say that I've seen that a ton, but it is possible. So that would be something, talk to your student's school counselor or send your student in, and we can talk about that if this is something that they want. The other thing is you have to have a 3.0 or higher GPA, okay? So overall, you're all aware of what that GPA looks like in that 4-point scale. Mostly A's and B's, really. It can be solid A's or solid B's, or it can be kind of, if there's a C in there, balanced out by an A, that kind of workability. So that is the Advanced Honors endorsement. Now I mentioned this is tied to money. If you have the advanced honors endorsement, plus you take the ACT and you get a 24 or higher, that automatically qualifies you if you fill out the application for the Opportunity Scholarship. So the Opportunity Scholarship, Mr. Robert is just gonna cover it a little bit more. Actually, is that Mrs. Kirshner? Mrs. Kirshner, but that's $7,500 over the course of 4 years in one of the South Dakota schools. So that is a big deal. That is something you definitely want to apply for and keep on track for if you're interested in one of those 4-year South Dakota schools. Or 2-year. You can get it at a 2-year school too. You just get the first 2 installments, not the last one, not the last 2. Okay, questions about the endorsements before we continue? It's a lot of information. Okay.
The algebra as an 8th grader, it counts for the 4 years?
It does.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. Any other questions? Yeah.
And the grades lower than a C, is that a semester grade or a quarter grade?
Semester. Yep. So that is a great question. The grades that show up on transcripts are semester grades. Okay? So those are the grades. Everyone, like homework assignment, look at your kid's transcript on Infinite Campus, have them pull that up, and just take a look at kind of what you're dealing with. But yes, we are talking semester grades. Any other questions with endorsements, graduation requirements? Okay.
Okay. So once again, my name is Mr. Roberge. Show of hands, who remembers Mr. Mark Beese? Okay, so a lot of you. I am Mr. Mark Beese's replacement, so if you call me Mark, that's completely fine. We'll get through it together. But one of the things that he mentioned was vision plus energy equals success. I like that. It's not my motto, but I'm still going to put it up there. But basically what he was saying is you can have all the vision in the world, but if you don't have any energy, you don't have any accountability, you don't put in the effort, you're not going to be successful. And vice versa, you can have this perfect vision and this plan, but if you don't execute, you're not going to be successful. I don't know if that was the same thing twice, but we're going to move on. We also like to talk about the iceberg and the counseling room a little bit too. Everybody sees the tip of the iceberg, right? Where you're sending out grad invites, you're going to grad parties, and you're celebrating the success of your student. But a lot of times we don't see all the work, so the bottom half of the iceberg of what went in to get there. And a lot of that comes junior year. I think we can all agree that that's probably the hardest year you're going to have from a K-12 experience. Just because there is so much going on, you have to be persistent. There's going to be failures. There's going to be disappointment. You're going to have to be disciplined in your work. So essentially just keeping that in the forefront of, yes, this is a lot of work junior year, but eventually we're going to get through it. We're going to be successful at the end of the year. This slide is overwhelming, and I kind of wanted it to be that way. Essentially what I'm trying to tell you, that upper left-hand corner, focus on your job and career first, and then you can start to choose your major, and then you go on to the college or university or workforce or military. Because if you try to choose the college first, whether that's where mom or dad went, grandpa and grandma went, or wherever parents hold season tickets to, it's going to be really overwhelming when you get to college and then start to figure out your path when you get there. I think we can all agree that college is super expensive, so it's the last thing that we want to do. And it doesn't have to be super formal. It can be on the way home tonight in the car. It can be at the dinner table, at the grocery store. It's just those little conversations that you have with your student, your son, daughter, that pay dividends in the end. So whether that's preferences on college type, technical, 2-year, 4-year, private versus public, the size. Me, I'm an introvert. I'm a big Gopher sports fan, but I never would have gone to the University of Minnesota because there's 50-some thousand people there. It just wouldn't fit. We talked about demographics as well. Maybe a private school, they force you to stay on campus for 4 years. So maybe that's a drawback for some students. We all have different needs and wants in our college experience. But ultimately, look at your job and your career first, and then the major and the college will align with you. Some other things to consider would be the majors, the support services that schools offer, extracurricular activities, whether or not you want to play a sport or club, career services, mental health services, and then the upper right-hand corner, which I can barely see and I didn't memorize, but acceptance rate is also a big thing. maybe we have some dreamers in the room, and that's great, and I want you to dream, but sometimes we have to be a realist about our expectations. So looking at the average ACT score or the acceptance rate might tell us a better picture of whether or not our abilities kind of line up with where we want to go. So if you're a 2.0 student, you might not get into Penn U's law school or business school. And then the lower right-hand corner as well, just talking about the setting. Do I want to get away from mom and dad, or do I want them in the backyard to help me with, I don't know, laundry? So are you going to go to University of Maine, or maybe you might go to Next slide. So the other piece here that I wanted to talk about, please feel free to get your phone out, because I'm going to get my phone out eventually here. With the student timeline, I think this is helpful. But essentially starting to create lists now as a junior. So maybe you have a pick of 8 schools that you're interested in. Once you get to the summertime, you should really narrow that down to maybe 4 or 5. Even then, I don't know, type A, like to have it narrowed down even more. But everybody's different. Start creating your list now. So maybe you have your match schools, which would be the highest ones on your list. They're the one that you want to go to. Your extracurriculars and your accomplishments kind of line up with that. And then maybe you have a reach school. Maybe you want to apply to Ivy League. So maybe there's a safety school where you know you're going to get in, but you don't necessarily want to go there. Maybe it's even based off of finances, or back to that social fit of mom and dad have season tickets at UNL, and that's just a fun campus to be at. So speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, but start creating your list now. Start having the conversations now, because they're going to pay off in the long run. And then as far as reps go, what I mean with that is we have schools come in, I think within the last month, it almost seems like we had a couple of schools each day and had a school a week type thing. Or we had a certain branch come in and visit with students during lunchtime. Encourage your students to talk to those people. It can be awkward at times, but I think that it'll pay off when you have those conversations now, because it might weed out some of those ones where maybe you thought you were going to plan to visit, and then all of a sudden you find out that you don't have the major that you want, so you're not going to take time to go. And then the World of Work and Internship, great program that we have here at the high school for seniors. Hopefully by the time you're at the end of your junior year, you narrow down your schools, because remember, we want to look at the job and career first, and then we kind of do that funnel. You can get into an internship that you might have an interest in. Or maybe you get into that internship World of Work and you find out really quick. I think you used the example the other day of I was shadowing a nurse, and I found out really quick I don't like blood, so I'm not going to make a career out of that. Those are invaluable experiences that really help their high school students, and take advantage of it. Testing. A lot of it's coming up. Next slide. So I'm going to use my phone here in a little bit, but testing, what I'm getting at is don't paint yourself in a corner. Take the ACT with the writing and all the different sections. So the SAT has a reading and a writing portion, and then a math portion. ACT also has that, which is the composite score, which is reading, English, and math. So they're kind of on par there. However, if you decide that you want to go to a coast school, more than likely you're probably going to have to take the SAT. So that's why it's important to plan and get lists, because you're going to have to look at which 4 of your schools require certain things. If you're taking the ACT, everybody's going to have a super score as long as you take the ACT multiple times and do really well once, and then bomb every single section next time, but then do extremely well in math, and then they'll take that great math score and apply it to the first one. And then STEM score, maybe you want to get into engineering, and there's a program at the University of Maryland, and they say that we don't need you to take writing, but we do need you to have a STEM score. So back to what I was getting at is tailor whatever it is, the school that you're interested in, the program that you're in. However, me liking to play it safe, just take it all. I'm not saying you have to take the ACT and the SAT, but take the full ACT. Because ultimately what we're seeing in the counseling room is schools are going back to requiring the ACT for admissions.
most of their scholarships they give them.
She's getting ahead of me here. And then Gustavus, the school that I went to, didn't require it. However, Gustavus is expensive, USD is expensive, and if you need scholarships, they're gonna look at your ACT score. So yes, you can get in without it, but if you need financial aid, take the ACT, because that's what they're gonna look at. Additionally, what is a good ACT score? Whatever the score is that gets you into the school that you want to be at, right? I also talked earlier about an indication of whether or not you'll get in. The ACT isn't the only thing that schools look at, right? However, some schools, if you do a little searching on their home site, they'll say what the average ACT score of their incoming freshmen are, or their students are. So that's another indicator to look at. ACT is offered 7 times each year here at the high school. So if you go to act.org, plug in 57078, it's going to tell you the dates. Just make sure that you're selecting the paper pencil version. If you try and do the computer version, it's going to try and shoot you to Sioux Falls, which you can if you want, but want to stay in our backyard here. So here's where I'm going to get my phone out. December 14th, if you want to test on that day and you didn't already register, you now have to pay a $40 late fee and accomplish that by November 22nd. Just in case you're trying to do it fast, you can still take it for the 14th, you have to pay an additional $40. The next one after that, excuse me, is November 8th, and the registration, surprise, surprise, is tomorrow by the end of the day. So November 8th, for February 8th. I misspoke there, but I think y'all got that. So February 8th, make sure to register by tomorrow, is the next
I think that was the one for December.
Say it again?
I think tomorrow is the one for December.
Right, yeah. Did I get that mixed up? February 8th. I'm gonna say it one more time, because I botched that big time. So November 8th registration deadline is for February 8th. Okay? If you wanna take the December 14th, you have to pay a $40 late fee and do that by the 22nd. So each testing date has the day that you test, the day that you have to register by, and then a late fee, and then a waiting list fee. So if you go on act.org, plug in Yankton, they'll lay that out perfectly for you. So sorry if I made that even more confusing, but that was the deadline.
Can I jump in on something?
Yeah.
So the ACT is a curriculum-based assessment, and it's everything you learn in the classroom through spring of your junior year. So we typically advise students to take the April ACT as their first one. So we will also, and Mr. Roberts did a great job with this last year too, is our ACT test prep coordinator. So we will have a test prep session, so a series of courses where we go over math, English, science, reading, and then do a test simulation as well. And that'll get them ready for the April ACT.
And then a few other tests. AccuPlacer, decide that you want to go the tech route. At some point, you're probably going to have to go to the school that you're interested in, and then you're going to do the AccuPlacer test. Basically just tells you where you're at on the scale and whether or not you have to take certain classes as a prerequisite to the major that you choose. The PSAT, a lot of your students took that here a few weeks ago now, maybe it was a month ago. It's starting to get a little blurry. But they should have their results now. I get their results Monday, so that sounds weird, but I sign them all up for a College Board account. And since they have a College Board account, that means that they can now view their scores. So if you haven't looked yet, please go on tonight. They took the PSAT to collegeboard.org and start flipping through that. If you have questions, I can meet with you at some point to discuss those scores. Second to last,
I said, I couldn't really hear what you were saying. You said
Sorry.
you're doing a test prep, and that's for what? I couldn't really hear it.
so I'll go back to that at the very end.
Okay.
Promise. And the SAT, also 7 times a year. We don't have that here in Yankton, so you're probably going to go to Sioux Falls for that. And then the ASVAB, if you decide to go the military route, tested in October, but if you need to retest,